it is a cross-disciplinary program in data science and economics. Okay, in short, we call this the XDP in DSE. All right, so I'm going to give some information about the concepts of a cross-disciplinary program before I move into what it's trying to address here, the integration between data science and economics, and then I'll talk about the curriculum rationale, how it's designed. Okay, and I want to keep this somewhat short in the sense that we have an hour here, and I would probably try to finish within, say, 30 minutes so that we have time to take questions. I mean, clearly there'll be a lot of questions from many of you, okay, and we'll try to answer as many of them as possible during this session. All right, so NUS is moving into launching several cross-disciplinary degree programs, one of which is the XDP in data science and economics. And what is this intending to address? Okay, the XDPs are intended to better align with the nature of work in the context of the fourth industrial revolution, where there is increasing need for workers, okay, to integrate knowledge and skills from 2 or more disciplines. And so the XDPs are designed to give students greater flexibility in acquiring an education across 2 or more disciplines, and particularly to address specific needs of the nation as well as the world at large, basically. And so what the XDP attempts to do is to equip our students and hence the graduates with the ability to integrate knowledge across both disciplines and to keep it real, okay, with an emphasis on how the knowledge across these disciplines can be used to solve real world problems. So that's the rationale over here, basically, for what lies in the XDP. And this being the XDP in data science and economics, clearly we're trying to address, okay, the need to integrate knowledge and skills between data science and economics. And what are some of the driving forces for such a program then? I want to talk about digital economy. I want to talk about financial technology. And I also want to talk about digital currencies. These are some of the driving forces for launching this program, XDP in data science and economics, DSE. So an observation made by TechCrunch, I think a few years ago, is the following. They talk about Uber, Facebook, Alibaba, and Airbnb, and these are familiar companies to many of us, but curiously, they share something in common. For example, Uber, as is noted by TechCrunch, the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. And then they talk about Facebook as well, the world's most popular media owner, creates no content. And Alibaba, the world's most valuable retailer, has no inventory, and Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider, owns no real estate. So over the last several years, last decade or so, something interesting has happened, basically. You have companies that provide services, but they don't own the facilities to provide these services. And this, in some sense, characterizes the digital economy, okay, sometimes also known as a sharing economy. And how is this so? So according to the World Economic Forum and the Group of 20, the digital economy is defined as follows. It's about economic activity that uses digitized information and knowledge as key factors of production. So, all these activities that we do with Uber and locally with Grab, Facebook, Alibaba, and the other online retail platforms, as well as Airbnb, all these activities we do with them in a digitized manner, basically. All right, and then it also makes use of modern information networks as an important activity space. So where do they take place? They take place, at first on the internet, and more we are moving on the mobile platform, basically, doing a lot of our transactions on the mobile platform. And information and communications technology is also used to drive productivity growth. So to put this in context, for example, if we talk about Facebook is a media owner. I mean, it's the most popular media owner, but it creates no content. And so what does it do? It, users provide content, and then it's posted up there. And what does Facebook do, or how does Facebook drive its revenue? One part of it comes from, for example, ads, okay, and it needs to know which Facebook users should be served which kind of apps, okay. So depending on how we interact, how the users interact with each other, that information is collected by Facebook, and then it's used at the back end with some machine learning, basically, to determine, for example, what kind of ads could be served to individuals, so that there's a higher chance of click-through, and then a transaction or a purchase of some sort is made, and the better they do this, the better productivity they have. So that's the idea behind the digital economy. All right, it's come to be known in layman terms, okay, as economic activity that results from billions of everyday online connections among people, businesses, devices, data, and processes. So that's the essence of a digital economy. Things that take place on the mobile and internet platform, okay? It's transactions between many of us, okay? And we transact between people and businesses, between businesses themselves, and there's also devices that collect information and they transact amongst each other as well by sharing information. So at the crux of it, we have data, and then there is economic activity. So insight can be, obtained from data that resulted from these economic activities, and that's where the interface between data science and economics comes about, and also the need for integration of knowledge to deal with such problems, or to gain insight from such data. So the need came about from there, basically. All right, so the aggressive use of data is transforming how businesses are structured, how firms interact, and how consumers obtain services, information, and goods. All right, a key point to note also is the fact that locally, the digital economy is viewed as a key pillar to our smart nation goals. All right, so there's clearly local relevance, okay? But of course, you can appreciate the global relevance from TechCrunch's observation: Uber, Facebook, Alibaba, Airbnb. So it gives you certain companies' names, but we're talking about services in sectors that transcend, just a locality, basically, or a region. All right, so next I want to talk about Fintech, financial technology. And this refers to the integration of technology into offerings by financial services companies in order to improve the use of these services, okay, as well as delivery to consumers. All right, so clearly, Fintech is just, the words financial technology, the one part of it being put together. And what does Fintech entail, or what is being used in Fintech? Just to give some examples, machine learning is used, predictive analytics is used as well, and of course, data-driven marketing. And what has resulted from the use of these tools, so to speak, it's resulted in actually expanding financial inclusion. It's also resulted in the reduction of operational costs. And depending on, these are things you can find on Google, for example. So if you Google Fintech, you will find a lot of information. And some of the things that people talk about is the fact that Fintech is actually creating disruption to the traditional banking industry, in the sense that a lot of services can be delivered to consumers much faster and at much lower costs. Okay, and also Fintech is allowing services, banking services or financial services to go out to consumers that were traditionally not served or underserved by traditional banks. All right, so here are a few examples, and you may or may not have experience with them. Okay, but if you are a student, perhaps you have done mobile banking. All right, and if your parents invest, okay, they may be able to tell you that they've interacted with algorithms that offer them advice on where to place their investments, okay, and possibly they may have even in recent years bought insurance products without ever interacting with a person, or you have seen ads on the TV, certain insurance companies, they would sell you insurance, okay, without you ever having to interact with an agent. All right, so these are the directions that are important or emerging in fintech. So there's digital banking, where traditional banking services are now being served to customers who used to be underserved or they just don't qualify for them. Okay, there's robo-advisors in which machine learning algorithms are used. Okay, and then depending on aspects of the consumers we're talking about, investment advice is being customized to these consumers, and the same thing is done for InsurTech as well as RegTech. Deals more with the compliance of companies, particularly in efforts against fraud. Okay, and what is really driving fintech is the fact that there's a lot of data. Many of the things that we do nowadays are done on the mobile phone, and we do a lot of things there. And the phone collects or owns a lot of information about our behavior. What games do we play? All right, what banks do we interact with? What web pages do we go to? And one example here in digital banking is the fact that fintech companies are able to provide loans, small-scale loans to consumers who used to be unable to obtain any loan from traditional banks by actually looking at their mobile data, basically, or their behavior on the mobile network, on their mobile phones, like what are their friends on Facebook, okay, what games do they play, and and from all these behavior, they try to assess how creditworthy these consumers are. All right, so there's a lot of opportunity here. Okay, there are a lot of startups in this area as well. All right, and if we're happy to talk more about this later on if you have questions in this direction. So locally, how is this relevant? Well, the Monetary Authority of Singapore has just issued 4 licenses, okay, to organizations to operate digital banks. These are banks with no physical presence, okay? So this talks about, or addresses, or it's relevant, or directly addresses one of the applications I mentioned in the previous slide, digital banking. All right, so clearly there'll be more innovation to come in this area relating to fintech, okay, and that's where it's relevant. The next one I want to talk about is digital currencies, just to give you a flavor of what's happening over here. And digital currencies are broad. Even when you use, say, a wallet, okay, or an e-wallet, that's a digital currency as well, because you're actually taking money and placing it, virtually in an e-wallet, and then you're transacting using an e-wallet. All right, but perhaps if you read more broadly, you may be aware of things like Bitcoins, particularly it's in the news of late due to its huge appreciation in value. Okay, and of course the underlying platform or technology known as blockchain. So blockchain is a digital ledger technology that allows people to keep track of transactions in a distributed and trusted fashion. So this means that you no longer need a third-party intermediary to guarantee things, okay, or to guarantee the integrity of transactions. Okay, so on this platform, of course, then you would see many digital currencies being built. Okay, Bitcoin being in the news a lot recently. All right, and this is one big area of research as well as innovation. Okay, you have these currencies floating around. How do we price them? Okay, in the recent run-up in value, I mean, is the Bitcoin going to continue to appreciate in value, and by how much, or will a correction in value come at some point in time? These are questions that one can attempt to answer with data, okay, transactional data. All right, so again, why should this be of interest to us? Well, many bigger firms are actually moving in a direction of accepting and recognizing digital currencies as a form of payments, okay, as an actual currency, basically. All right, so this is in recent news, Tesla bought 1.5 billion, I would imagine US dollars in Bitcoins. Okay, this is from CNBC News. And it's planning to accept Bitcoin as payment, as currency. So there's a lot of development in this area, for better or for worse, all right? But clearly a lot of innovation, and it's something that one should get familiar with, and it also requires tight integration between data science and economics. All right, so that's the backdrop, okay? Developments such as digital economy, such as Fintech, such as digital currencies, they're driving the need for much closer and much tighter integration between disciplines of data science and economics. And so NUS is launching this program in the coming August, okay, the CrossDisciplinary Program, XDP, in data science and economics. Okay, it's a 4-year direct honors degree program. It's jointly offered by 3 departments under the umbrella of the College of Humanities and Sciences, okay? And the departments are Statistics and Applied Probability. That's my department. Mathematics, we have Prof. Chen with us, and she's from the Mathematics department, as well as the Economics department. We have Prof. Choon with us as well, and she's from the Economics department. So we came together to develop the curriculum, all right? And as far as we know, this way of integrating disciplines into a cross-disciplinary program, particularly here data science and economics, is the first of its kind in Singapore. You will be equipped with strong foundational knowledge in both disciplines and ample practical experience in the empirical analysis of financial and economic data. All right, and the objective of this XDP in data science and economics is to produce graduates who can make effective policy and business decisions anchored on data and to drive innovation. All right, so let's talk about the curriculum. And this is clearly of interest to many of you here. I was glancing at some of the Q&A questions. People were asking, how is this different from, say, a program in data science and analytics? How is it different than a program in economics on its own? And the emphasis that I want to, or what I want to emphasize here is the fact that this program here is designed with tight integration of knowledge and skills from both disciplines. And we're very mindful to have, content in the curriculum that address directly emerging needs, okay, in the digital economy, in Fintech, as well as in digital currencies, okay? And clearly the curriculum will be refreshed and updated as and when new emerging needs come about. All right, so in this program, there are cross-disciplinary modules, okay, on the emerging products and technologies that I mentioned earlier, digital currencies, Fintech, as well as some challenging problems resulting from digital economy. And it's cross-disciplinary because students get hands-on experience in how to use data science techniques, okay, integrated with economic principles, to try to address these issues. All right, and there's also many industry-linked modules and projects in the curriculum, okay, which further, provide further opportunities for students to integrate data science and economics, okay, in practical situations, okay, on real-world problems. So this is the program structure, okay. I'm going to assume many of you have attended the talk at 10 o'clock on the CHS curriculum, where our the co-deans of the College of Humanities and Sciences welcomed you, and of course the vice deans would have given you information about the curriculum structure. So I will give you the salient points here. Okay, the curriculum in CHS would require you to go through what is known as a CHS Common Curriculum, covering such things as artificial intelligence, AI, computational thinking, CT, community and engagement, design thinking, TDT, QR, quantitative reasoning, writing, Okay, these are what we call general education. And then we have the integrated disciplinary integrated humanities, social sciences, as well as science modules on Asian studies, humanities, social sciences, scientific inquiries 1 and 2, and there's also the requirement for 2 interdisciplinary modules. All right, and because the XDP is by design cross-disciplinary, it would have clearly addressed the need for interdisciplinary modules in the CHS Common Curriculum, and also students will read in their first semester with us what we call an introductory data science module in economics. All right, and that would address the general education module on quantitative reasoning. So even though effectively there are 52 MCs under the CHS Common Curriculum, the effective number of MCs that need to be fulfilled for a DSE student is 40 MCs. Okay, and then there are major requirements. All right, and of course these would come from the 2 disciplines, data science and economics. These made up 76 MCs of the requirements. The remaining 20 MCs have been fulfilled by taking cross-disciplinary modules. Okay, clearly I've already mentioned there are cross-disciplinary modules that address emerging needs in digital currencies, fintech, and digital economy, but there are more. Okay, so the total major requirement is 96 modular credits. Okay, this leaves a balance of 24 modular credits, because the total modular credit for a 4-year direct honors program is 160 MCs. And the unrestricted elective modules can be used to participate in internships, to read a minor, okay, and even to read a second major, all right, because it's 24 MCs. A second major, you may have heard earlier, would require students to fulfill 40 MCs, but if one chooses a second major with maximum double count, okay, with the current XDP, then the net requirement can be reduced to as low as 24 MCs. All right, so this gives you a flavor of what different pieces you have in the curriculum, okay, and what different components you will have in terms of the requirements. Okay, just a quick slide, okay, and quick mention of what constitute the major requirements. Okay, there's of course foundations in data science and economics, including such things from computer science, from mathematics, from statistics, from data analytics, and of course from economics. All right, I mean, we can talk about the specific modules there perhaps later on, okay, or in private if you have questions about that. But I think this is not a platform to go into too much detail about the actual requirements. And what I want to really emphasize is the fact that there are 20 modular credits of cross-disciplinary requirements, okay, within the major, and they would address such things as digital economy, such things as fintech, okay, and then digital currency, but there's much more. Machine learning and how it's used in econometrics, for example, sense making, how one would formulate problems in sectors of business, commerce, economics and finance, and then use data to solve them. And within the curriculum as well, there's a compulsory capstone project, okay, which students have to complete to demonstrate that they are able to integrate, skills and knowledge from data science and economics to solve a meaningful problem. All right, so this is the feature in the XDP, the fact that there's huge emphasis on cross-disciplinarity, how knowledge and skills are integrated, which is a key skill or ability in in the current world, basically. All right, I also should mention that it's not all just coursework. Okay, there's also ample opportunity for experiential learning. There's internships, like I mentioned. There's space for internships under the unrestricted elective space. And in 3 years' time, hopefully, travel will be restored, and students can go overseas for exchange, and this results in personal developments. Okay, I've mentioned the DSE capstone projects. I've also talked about sense-making module. So these are opportunities for experiential learning. All right, career prospects, which is of course very relevant to some of you considering whether or not to join this program. Graduates from this XDP in data science and economics can expect to have career choices as data science professionals and economists in both public and private firms. Okay, in many of these public and private firms, there are increasing needs for extensive collection, processing, and analysis of economic data. Okay, particularly like I mentioned earlier, in relation to the digital economy, in relation to Fintech, as well as in relation to digital currencies. So you have ministries and stat boards, but under the broader umbrella, banking institutions will be interested in hiring graduates with tightly integrated ability and skills in both data science and economics, consulting firms, investment companies, online retailers, and even stock exchanges. All right, so I think I'll end here. It's almost 30 minutes. All right, and then I would take questions. Okay, or the panel will take questions. All right, thank you very much. Perhaps I could talk about how we will conduct the Q&A. Clearly, a lot of questions have come in already on the Q&A panel, and we'll attempt to answer some of these questions. Should some of you prefer to actually ask your questions live, okay, and please don't be shy about doing that. Please just raise your hand, okay, and we'll get to you, okay, and we'll mention your screen name, and then you could unmute yourself and ask a question.
Probably, I'm Prof. Choon here. There are a number of questions regarding whether the difference between SDP and doing a second major. Maybe just to clarify, the SDP is a direct admission program. Students are directly admitted to this cross-disciplinary program. This is a competitive program, and I think as from the presentation, you can see there will be a lot of value added from this program. So to start off, I just want to emphasize that SDP in DSE is highly prescribed. That is to say that you, as Prof. Lim has already mentioned, there are certain modules that you must do in a proper sequence. So you have to be properly take modules in math, in stats, in economics, and then even to do some integrated modules. So I think a lot of questions, people asking whether is it possible for me to decide on this SDP after the 4th semester at NUS. I think the answer should be no. Because this is a program is based on direct admission, and from day one you would have to do the prescribed program alongside with the CHS requirement. So there are also questions about whether you can do a XDP in data science and economics together with doing another major from another faculty. As you can see, that for the unrestricted elective modules, you are only left with 20 UE space. So to do typically under the CHS, a second module requires you to read 10 modules in that major, right? So that will be 40 MCs. So under the current framework, seems like you have to, you wouldn't have enough UE space to do a second major. Yeah. So that's my response, because there are many questions, similar questions on this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Chia. Maybe I could just add on to Prof. Chia's comments relating doing a second major together with the XDP in data science and economics. The 160 MC requirement, which of course most students would try to hit spot on at 160, is the minimum modular credit requirement. Okay, so students can exceed 160, but they cannot go below 160 for graduation. All right, so if there are students who are highly motivated and really want to do a second major, and perhaps it adds huge value to them in terms of their career options later on, then, you know, and they do well in both the XDP and the second major subjects, then it is possible to attempt that second major, but that would mean exceeding 160 MCs. All right, and even though we typically don't tell you to do this, but highly motivated students can do that, okay, and it's perfectly fine as well. All right, and to also re-emphasize or reiterate what Prof. Chia has said, this is a direct admission program. All right, so you may have heard earlier from the earlier session that there are many majors available under the Humanities and Sciences course. It will not include this XDP. To apply to this XDP, you must choose the Data Science and Economics course, okay, which is a separate option in the admissions portal. All right.
Okay, I just I see there are a lot of questions, and as Prof. Chia and as Prof. Chia mentioned, several questions are similar. So I think I would like to say more from how to say the field orientated. I think most questions related the difference between DSE and business analytics and DSA. Some also ask the difference from computer science. I already start answer something, and let me summarize. I would say that DSE is very different from others in terms of it is really integrated new program. In a sense, we not only pick up some modules from econ, from math, from statistics. Instead, we really design a lot of new modules facing to the challenge and the problem in the area of digital economics. So that's why you see like we have this Fintech, we have a digital economy, and also digital currency. They do not really appear in traditional economics or traditional data science, right? So the DSE is completely cross-disciplinary. It's not like mixed. Instead, it's really integrated, right? We design new modules to equip our students with the ability to handle the problem just emerged. And also we are different from, let's say, machine learning and AI, which are very hot topic nowadays, in the sense that we not only teach you state of arts, right? We don't stop at we teach you how to do, right? How to do is like you implement the program, the software to solve some well-known problem. Instead, we teach you why, right? We introduce the theory, the method. We tell you the reasons why this particular problem happens and why do we choose this particular method to solve the problem. And in this case, it's kind of really combination of, you start from the very beginning. You think your problem and you make a customized design to solve this particular problem. And of course, it doesn't mean you you just start from zero, right? We teach you the state of art, and simultaneously, we really try to stimulate the thinking and give you the comprehensive training. So the purpose is, you know, the world just changed so fast, right? We never expect digital currency, let's say 5 years ago or 10 years ago, right? But now it is there, right? So we hope that the training will make you be prepared for the future when some new problem come out, right? The training can help you to solve this really brand new problem. You know where to start and which methods you can, you know, change, and so that it can provide solution for your particular problem. And so you see, we are not really focusing on programming skills, right? That is our CS colleague will concentrate. We are also not business analytics, because we are facing to the future, right? And it's not only to solve the business problem, we also teach you the method. So it's I think this makes us kind of unique and different. I think people also may possibly interested in how this DSE new modules can help us. If you really go to our website, and you can see that in addition to some new modules, right, like yeah, Prof. Lin already mentioned, right, we also have a kind of project module. Right, the project module will intensively work together with industry. Just for your information, we are not just launching a new program because we suddenly have this idea. We also, consult the industry and talk to them. So for the DSE, we actually have a plan to work closely with industrial partner. Right, we listen to them and know what are the problems they are very interested, and which kind of people they are looking for. So the project module also provide our students a platform to directly work with professional even before you go to job market. So you know how the world is running, right? I would say that is a very good and valuable experience. I do know that other programs also provide internship because people really think that is important. But so far, let's say our experiences, DSE really attract a lot of attention during our communication with the industrial partner. And they really think it's a great idea, because this is the right time to train the manpower, and that can further contribute to the development of the smart nation in Singapore. Therefore, I would say that the job prospects are really bright. I noticed that one question is whether after graduate people mainly go to finance sector. I would say yes, finance sector definitely is a big pool to accept our graduates. But more than that, for the digital economy, it's not only finance, right? And you can, for example, go to like Prof. Lin mentioned, right? Like Uber, we don't have Uber, but we have Grab, right? And this is a high-tech company. We have Shopee, we have Lazada, and also because of this political econ issue, and a lot of big company started building data science center, and they are thinking about to develop their future business in ASEAN, right? This is really a big opportunity. I would say that if you really equipped with this integrated data science and economics, right? You really know how to handle the problem in the era of digital economy. You will be very popular, right? And the logistic company you can go, right? Like UPS, right? They also work together with NUS, right? And GIC, financial sector, Shopee, and there are so many opportunities. Yeah, I think I said too much.
Yeah. Thank you, Choon. It's actually very good. I'm also reading a lot of questions, particularly, let me read these questions. I think it's also very common. Somebody asked that since students will be learning both data science and economics, will the depth of learning in both aspects be rather shallow compared to a student taking only data science or economics degree? Yes, fundamentally, if you just do a major in data science or a major in economics, you will delve deeply into the discipline. But in the cross-disciplinary program, as both Prof. Lim and Prof. Chen have already highlighted, the main things that shine in this program is the integrated nature of data science and economics. So instead of just doing modules offered by the two disciplines under the cross-disciplinary program, there are newly designed modules that will be offered by faculty members from the different faculties. So this will provide students with different insights for the two disciplines, and you will get an opportunity to experience the practice of data science and economics in many applied issues, either in the financial world or in aspects of economics or public policy and society. Finally, this program, the DSE, culminates in a capstone project. And this capstone project will have integrative knowledge from math, from stats, and from data science itself. So this will help you to be exposed and experience and test out real world problems that you will encounter. So that's why I would say that it's shallow. Definitely, I think it will be more experiential, more applicable. And today we are living in a very complex world, and the exposure to the two disciplines and handling the integrated knowledge in this discipline will definitely give you a head start in your career.
Yeah, let me say something more after Prof. Chia. I think, yes, if you are talking about, you compare, let's say, econ itself with DSE, we are not as deep as pure econ because they focus on different problem, right? And for example, if you are econ major and you do macroeconomics, right? You understand a lot of classic and also the new models and the unemployment rate, right? This won't be discussed in DSE. For DSE, we focus on the new problem. We focus on, let's say, the digital economy. So, you know, just the direction is a little bit different. Although you see econ, but it's a kind of modern, not really modern, but the focus is really on some certain particular econ issues appear nowadays, right? In this case, I would say these two are not really directly comparable. It's just like you compare, how to say, school of medicine to public health, right? And both are related to medicine and health, but they are different, right? They focus on different aspects, yeah.
Probably because maybe I would just want to give a concrete example. For example, in your A-level economics, we always say that economics analysis is the study of economic activities and human behaviors over space, across space, over time. But as Prof. Chen had mentioned, and also Prof. Lim had already talked about Industry 4.0, under Industry 4.0, things have changed. For example, data is shared on cloud, so you have real-time monitoring, real-time control, real-time optimization. And also you must have heard of things like Internet of Things. So where you are able to transfer data to a network in real time, there is therefore opportunity for remote monitoring. So economics thinking must change in this new world with Industry 4.0. Economic decision is just not like over time, because data is available instantaneously, and how to make use of this data. So, and you know, there are lots of data there, but I can tell you based on macroeconomic modeling and regression analysis, there are always a few major factors that will determine they give you a lot of information from this big data. So we were under the cross-disciplinary program, you will encounter economics problem, real world problem, and you will be trained to use tools to sift out the most important factors using maybe like regression analysis or some other analysis. But definitely you will see data science and economics in different light, yeah, in terms of the application to the real world problem.
Thank you,
yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Chia and Prof. Chen. Maybe I should also say a little bit about this to allay some concerns. It's clearly a different program here, okay, but there is the unrestricted elective space, 24 MCs effectively, 6 modules. And should any student in the course of, going through this program find that they would like to go deeper in data science or statistics or go deeper in economics, okay, we were mindful of this when we designed this program. And in fact, most of the higher level data science or statistics or economics modules will be accessible to students in this program because the prerequisites have been fulfilled already as part of this XDP in data science and economics. So hopefully, if there's something you are thinking about, okay, I hope to allay your concerns. You will not be excluded from doing higher level statistics, data science, or economics modules just because you are in this program. Okay, it is after all offered by 3 departments. Okay, and the prerequisites for most higher level modules in these 3 departments will be accessible to students in this program as well. Okay, so maybe back to Prof. Chen, who I think was starting on something.
Yeah, because I see still a lot of concern or comparison between DSE and taking 2 double major, DSA plus econ. I would say that some new modules introduced to DSE are exclusive to DSE program. And you can do the combination, no problem. But in that case, it's like, you really do it yourself, right? And for the new topics like digital currency or how to say Fintech stuff, you can also study on your own, right? By reading papers and doing some things. But if you do DSE, how to say, we do it for you, right? We design the modules and we pick up the important contents and choose the necessary contents to equip our students. So that will be different, right? One is DIY and plus some self-learning, and you need to really do a lot of review and understand which part important to to face the challenge in nowadays. Or you join us, and we have kind of experienced researchers, faculty members, and we will teach you what we have already experienced. So I think that will be different. Yeah.
Now 11:50. Can we take a few more questions?
Actually, I also see Bryce Tan's question, and somehow he has a concern whether the DSE curriculum can rigorous enough for them to find internship. I would say that I mean, for me, I don't think this should be the concern. That's the reason why we introduced this new program. And as said, we work closely with industry partner, and we talk to them, and we also, how to say, take their advice and their experience when we design and develop our new modules. So in this case, I believe, yeah, you will definitely get necessary, should be more than necessary skills and training to allow you to find intern. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe I should add to Prof. Chen's remarks earlier, and because this is in relation to the CHS Common Curriculum requirements, okay, which of course is an entirely new concept with this current AY 2021 intake in August. There's a deliberate intent, okay, in requiring students admitted into programs offered by the College of Humanities and Sciences to fulfill 52 MCs, okay, at face value of what we call common curriculum, basically under the College of Humanities and Sciences. And these address many things, okay, which broaden the perspective of our students and hence graduates. Okay, so they may or may not be directly related to the disciplines in which you study, but they broaden your perspective, and this is what is important moving forward into you know, the new world, so to speak. Okay, with the fourth industrial revolution, not only is one needed, you know, to go deep and do very well in the disciplines that one, you know, chooses to study and hence later on pursue a career in, but a broader perspective is also important in making one you know, well-rounded, okay, and therefore more able to face challenges or translate oneself to other areas should you know, developments in the future be in those directions. So the ability, the agility to move between disciplines, to reinvent oneself, these are the skills, okay, and ability we're trying to equip the graduates with the common curriculum. So it shouldn't be thought of as a distraction from the major. It should be thought of as, you know, important skills that will make oneself agile, okay, in a world that's changing, and it gives you the ability to move swiftly because you are exposed to these areas, okay, that are not directly in a discipline. You are aware of developments and you are curious about what's happening there as well, okay? So that's what the intent of the common curriculum is all about. Again, this is I'm going to add on to what Prof. Chen has mentioned earlier.
Maybe I'll just help the student ask one last question. They are asking what is the cohort size for these XDP in data science and economics?
Ms. Shaw, I think I'll take this question. The planning number is 50, okay? But of course, if the response is overwhelming and we get many good applicants, we can clearly take more, all right? But the planning number is 50.
Thank
and
you.
I think that I also saw some question about IGP flashing over.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we don't have information on that. It's the first cohort,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
can't tell you how it compares against, you know, other programs that are related. So we don't have the information.
Additionally, there's also a requirement that you must have a very good pass in H2 math for this program.
I think there was also a question about whether it will be whether they have to attend any interviews and all that. No, so this is not just to let all students know, this is not an interview course. So it'll be based on your application choices.
having said that, also I think that there's always aptitude-based admissions. We'll look at cases of students who don't immediately meet the cutoff requirements, but clearly demonstrate aptitude to take this course. And these students may be called out, these applicants may be called out for interviews later on, I think in April and May. All right, so interviews of that sort, but not to get admissions into the program if you meet the cutoff requirements directly.
I think with that, maybe Prof. Lim and Prof. Chia, you'd like to wrap up, since we are almost approaching 12 o'clock.
Yes, so maybe I'll just emphasize the key points here of this program. It is a cross-disciplinary program, degree program, okay? Emphasis being on cross-discipline, the X basically in XDP. And within the program, we have given thoughts, okay, to introduce brand new modules, okay, that integrates economics and data science, okay, addressing emerging needs in the digital economy, in fintech, and in digital currencies. And of course, because there are colleagues, okay, who are, experts at doing active research in these areas, and we're watching where these emerging needs are heading, okay, we will refresh the curriculum over time, okay, to talk about, if there are new things coming up, we will talk about them as well. So that's one key point of the curriculum. There's, of course, this being offered under CHS as a common curriculum, okay, which is intended to instill ability in our students for agility, okay, in a fast-changing world, and to also increase their curiosity so that they would become more well-rounded as a person, okay, and try to find out things that are not directly related, in this case here, to data science and economics. The program is different than a double major, okay, because of the fact that we have included cross-disciplinary components intentionally. So these are the key points to take away about features of the program. And quickly about application, I want to emphasize again, this is a direct admissions course. If you want to apply to do an XDP and DSE, you must select on the application portal the data science and economics course. Okay, this is distinctly different than humanities and sciences, okay, which is a new offering this year for all the other majors. Perhaps Prof. Chia has things to add.
Speaking from an economics point of view, this SDP will give you a very strong foundation in the three main fields in economics: in microeconomics, macroeconomics, and econometrics. However, you will not be given the opportunity to delve deeply into some of the topical studies under each discipline. However, you will have an added advantage because you're going to see economics problem in a different light, particularly now that we are into the industrial 4.0 revolution, where data can come in very quickly, very quickly, and at the same time you're going to experience huge data set that not only about economic activities but also can be about the society. So many agencies, both private sector and government sectors, they are looking for people with this kind of economic thinking, able to see problems in an economic way, and also to provide, this program will also provide you with the tools to tackle this real world problem. So I myself am very excited about this, particularly look forward to all the integrated modules. This is one of its kind in Singapore. I think NUS is the only university which will have an integrated cross-disciplinary program in both data science and economics. We just don't curate modules from the two disciplines, put them in a basket and give it to you. A lot of thoughts have gone through to how to equip you with the two disciplines in data science and economics.
Thank you.